Hey guys, Kenny Kelly here. Hey, I was touching base with a friend of mine the other day. We were talking about his kid. It's a 10-year-old select baseball player, and we were talking about how his team was doing and how his son was playing. And, it's getting time to the end of the season. And about this time every year, team after team, player after player, parent after parent, this begins to be like the toughest time of the year because the spring season's winding down and teams start making decisions for or against players, and players likewise start making decisions for and against teams, and a lot of people start moving and changing. And every year about this time, man, the excitement and the buzz of select baseball just goes crazy. It just absolutely goes crazy. And we were talking, and he said something that was just alarming to me as a coach and as a parent, having been on both sides of this table. We were talking, and he was talking about a conversation he had had with his son, reminding him that he played select baseball. And because you play select baseball, you open yourself up to the infamous deselection process, and that you can be deselected at any time. And, year in, year out, as I said, this time of the year it gets really crazy. Parents start really getting worried. Uh, Coaches start making moves. Coaches start trying to build what's going to happen for them in the future. And sometimes parents are caught completely off guard. And other times coaches are completely caught off guard. This process, this choosing a select team or leaving a select team, is very difficult, not only for the coaches, but for the parents, the players. And inevitably, there's almost no real good way to do it on either side, because no matter what, somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. But as you talk about this process, there's really a couple things that help in this process. The first thing you got to know is that you got to be really careful how you serve this up to your kid as a parent. The last thing you want to do is serve this up to your kid and he not want to play the game of baseball anymore. I don't believe that the deselection process, where a team decides that they're going to go a different direction, or maybe your son just isn't what they're looking for, I don't believe that should be an end of the world discussion. I don't think that that's something that we should put a lot of weight into. There's a lot of variables that go into that, and I think that the best way to explain it and the best way to talk about this is just like in life, things happen. Things change all the time. Um, Making a roster is an extremely exciting time. It's a fun time. Leaving a team is usually not ever fun. Um, but one of the things that's important when you make a roster or you leave a team is setting real expectations for yourself. When you go to that team, maybe setting clear goals for your child, and maybe getting a clear understanding from the coach of what exactly are they looking for, number one. Number two, what are their future plans and goals? And number three probably is a tricky question because it could change, but what are their beliefs in cutting a kid or deselecting, as we like to call it? Where do they stand in that belief system? Um, and because of that, those three things are questions you can ask. But keep in mind that last question of what are their beliefs could change. Um, Very commonly, you'll see a guy or a coach or a team or a club say, "Well, we don't really cut kids; we keep them." Um, but something happens along the way, and their belief system may change, or you may not be the best fit for their team, or you may just simply not be getting enough reps to develop you at the pace you want to be developed. Things change, things happen. Um, Again, I don't think that this changing teams or teams going a different direction, deselecting, cutting, whatever you want to call it, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think that it's important that we explain exactly what is going on. I don't think that we should hide it from a player. I think the player should know. But I think they should be explained in a manner where they understand that this doesn't mean that they can't play baseball or that they're a terrible person. It doesn't mean anything like that. In most cases, it's the better choice for the kid, although it doesn't feel like it at the moment. it could really end up turning out to be the best thing for the kid. I know for myself, my older son has gone through that. Um, and in that process where he was deselected, it was hard. It was hard for me as a coach and as a parent. It was hard for him. It was hard for me to tell him and watch him be devastated and cry. But what I soon realized when he landed on his feet on his next team, which all good athletes are going to do, he blossomed into a better player. So in some instances, it's not always the end of the world, and it's not the worst thing that could ever happen to your kid. Although you and myself don't want to have to talk about it, we don't want to have to share it with our kid. It's not the end of the world, and I don't think that we should get so hung up as parents or coaches on today more than we are focused on developing them as true children of character and true athletes that have sportsmanship. And through the game of baseball, we teach failure more than we could teach anything else. So stay tuned for more on this. This is a really heavy and deep topic that I'm going to do some more on. But I wanted to just stop and share real quick this thought that you could be deselected at any moment. And we're going to expound on that. We're going to do a full series on what's involved in the cutting process or the deselecting process, and how many times it's done from the coach perspective and how many times it's done from the parent perspective. I see it from both ways, very common. And there's generally some very common misconceptions on both sides of the table that fuel these changes. And in some cases, these changes are warranted and some they're not. But as we go forward and as we talk about this, we're going to do a full series on it. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this little clip. Look forward to getting back to you. Look real soon. We'll probably have another segment out on this, and with the spring season winding down, I definitely want to